Hi, this is Dr. Tom Rogers coming to you with a weekly podcast of the Common Sense MD. Welcome to another podcast. Today, I hope you get a lot out of this. As many of you know, my practice is based on preventive medicine mostly. I love nutrition. I love hormonal evaluations, but I've really gotten into vitamin supplements in the last few years after studying them for many years, taking a deep dive on them. 20 years ago, I would have told you you're nuts if you take as many vitamins as I do these days. But, you get wiser as you get older, and you see what happens to patients down the line. And really, the ones that took the most vitamins are the ones that today are doing the best. In a perfect world, we just eat plenty of vegetables and grass-fed meat and wild-caught fish and drink purified water and all. But really, it's very hard to do that. So you really need supplements. I think almost everybody needs supplementation with vitamins. So I've come up with my own line of vitamins. They're called Dr. Rogers vitamins. The only reason I call it that is because I didn't know what else to call it. The reason I started making them is because, or having them made for me, is because I was taking a lot of different vitamins. And I wanted to make combination vitamins that had the potency, the purity that I just wasn't seeing out there at a reasonable price. So I started making my own vitamin line. There's a lot of companies that put fillers in there. They're not dated, and you have to take too many separately. So that's why I kind of did it. But anyway, and cost was becoming a factor. Then I met some guys from Oregon at one of our integrated medical meetings in Florida. And actually, they come to quite a few of them. I've met them several times. And this last chat we had was very productive. And they're out of a place called Sisters, Oregon. And you know how people are in Oregon. They're really earth people. They like clean things, outdoors, that type of thing. So it really got me interested in making my own vitamins. Their company is called Freedom to Formulate. I also like that freedom part of it. Freedom to Formulate, based in Oregon. They have their own manufacturing facilities. And they select the purest raw ingredients. They use European and domestic sources, so they're not going outside the box of some of these other places we don't want to order stuff from. But they go beyond the normal requirements. They're 100% chemical filler-free supplements. A lot of times I've been disappointed in some of the other vitamin companies that I've used in the past because they're starting to put more fillers in them. And I really didn't like that because some of my patients were starting to ask about it. And so when I looked at it, I agreed with them. There's too many fillers in a lot of these things. So I found this company, and they just go way beyond the normal requirements for testing. They're very transparent about where they come from, where the raw materials come from, and they all use third-party labeling and lab testing on 100% of their supplements, not just the 20% that's required. So 100% of their products are tested. There's something called NSF certification, which is the highest level. And this company has an A+ rating. And what I found out was only 0.1% of companies that make these supplements are A+ rated. 0.1%. That's very low. There's no dyes, benzoates, there's no propylene glycol, there's no lactose, there's no soy. If they have to use a filler, they don't use silicone dioxide or magnesium stearate. Those are the ones I steer away from. If they have to use a very tiny amount to put the capsule in a cellulose capsule, they use the microcrystalline cellulose, which is the one I would prefer. And again, it's such a negligible amount in that vegetarian capsule. That's what they kind of put with them. So I think it's very safe. And like I said, the raw materials come from European sources or United States sources. And when they get here, they're put in warehouses here. And the raw materials that go into these facilities in Oregon, they quarantine them and they test and retest them. So it's pure. So they're definitely safe. And of course, they're fresh dated as well. That's why I tell people, you don't need to be getting your vitamins off some of these internet companies and at some of the big box places you'll get around town, because you're not sure how long they've been sitting on the shelf, for one thing. And there's a lot of different potency values. I mean, I'm a big vitamin believer, but if you ever see any studies that say vitamins aren't effective for certain conditions, it's probably because they're not using enough milligrams with them. They'll say, hey, there's D in there, there's C in there, but there's not enough to make a difference. So I wanted to make sure that I formulated the ones with the doses that I wanted in them. And so I got it. And I put combinations in there, and I get the right kind of vitamins in there. I'll give you an example. My energy formula just doesn't have CoQ10 in it. Everybody knows that CoQ10 is for energy. I've taken it for years. CoQ10 really stimulates your mitochondria to produce more ATP, the ultimate source of energy from the mitochondria. But really, you need something called PQQ in there with it. And what that does is stimulate the formation of more mitochondria. So I added that to it. And then the last thing I added to it was taurine for energy. If you ever heard of Red Bull, that's the only really good thing in it, it's taurine. And the latest studies show that not only is it great for energy, it's great for longevity. Look at the studies on taurine. So I combine that with it as well. So you're getting 3 great ingredients in there for about the same price that you get a CoQ10 by itself with from a reputable place. So I like that one. My stress formula is awesome because it has not only L-theanine, but ashwagandha and saffron. One of my favorite all-timers is saffron. So you get 3 for the price of 1. It's my best seller, is my stress formula. And my next best would probably be my super vitamin. And this thing is loaded. As a matter of fact, when I called them and told them what I wanted in it, they couldn't believe it. They said it was the most packed multivitamin they've ever made. And it's really has just a ton of good stuff in it. It has 5,000 of D with K2, MK7 specifically, of 180 milligrams. It has 1,000 of C, the absorbable form of C. It has the alpha E, which is the form you want. Vitamin E you got to be very careful with. It has vitamin A, has zinc, 30 milligrams. It has copper. It has the methylated B complex, very important. It has selenium, 200 milligrams. It's chromium. It has boron. It has lycopene. It has iodine in it. I mean, it is loaded. That is the best multi that I've come across so far. And I put it in my name because I designed it. So I'm really proud of my super vitamin. I think it's just loaded. Take it with food. My magnesium is another combination that I came up with. It has magnesium malate, threonate, and glycinate, which are all very important. Unless you're constipated, you really don't need the citrate. If you're constipated, you need magnesium citrate. But, I'm thinking brain function, and I call it total body because it has a lot of other useful functions besides brain power. But anyway, so I have a lot of vitamins. There's another company that I used that I still use for vitamins that I request their particular brand, and they're from Zymogen. That's a company I've been working with for years. They come to all our functional medicine clinics, and just a great company based in Florida. Like my Mega Max, it comes from Zymogen. My berberine, which is highly absorbable, comes from Zymogen. So I look at the best forms, and some of these things I will white label. There's 3 or 4 of them that I'll white label as my own, because really the reason I do this is because if I'm not formulating something, putting the combination together myself, say it's a single like omega-3, you really don't combine that with anything. But there's a vast difference. And really, what I'm trying to do is when I buy these in bulk, I can keep the prices down on them and kind of cut the middleman out so that I can, make them affordable for everybody that are quality vitamins. A lot of times if there's second-party sellers, it drives the cost of them up. So that's one reason I'll white label 3 or 4 of these vitamins. The rest of them come out of Freedom to Formulate. And again, I'm not a vitamin salesman. I'm a medical doctor that is looking at preventative medicine. But I just found a niche here that I wanted a better place to get vitamins that could be combo vitamins that were affordable, pure, and just better, I think. And it's just amazed me at how popular these things have become. You got to be careful when you're purchasing supplements, especially over the internet, because there's a lot of online places that, for example, Amazon and eBay, where there can be some counterfeit products that you could possibly come a hold of that they resell them. So you got to be kind of leery. We're finding out more and more about that. So I don't know. I like to know where my vitamins are coming from. I like to cut the middleman out, and a lot of vitamins are just not going to have the potency that you need to really help you. If you're going to take them, you might as well take ones that have enough milligrams in them to do you some good. I mean, look at vitamin D and most multivitamins, just way, way low. So if you see studies that say omega-3s or vitamin D don't work, that's purely wrong. They're just not using the kind of doses that you need. So I'm sure there's going to be more. I think I have 12 of my own right now. I'm going to give you a list. I'll print it on this podcast, what it is and what's in it. So look at the ingredients of this stuff. Again, it's pure, it's potent, it's tested, it's safe, and I trust them. That's what I take. So there's going to be more that I come up with in the future. So, but right now I've got a pretty good start on it, and I hope you at least look at them and compare it to the vitamins you may be taking. So hope this helps. Stay tuned. It's Dr. Tom Rogers at Performance Medicine, the Common Sense MD. I'll see you next week.